Wait for it. Hold on. There it is.
What?
There we go.
You think Kawhi gonna reach back there?
Not really. It was just a
Unfortunately.
transition.
Yeah, man. I think we've seen the last of elite Kawhi, man. Sadly, as it sounds.
Oh, Boston versus Miami. That's a good rivalry too.
Yeah, I mean they each beat each other in the Eastern Conference Finals over the past 3 years, right?
Right, them guys play hard against each other.
That's a good point.
That's fair. That's a fair way to bring in the Celtics.
Look at that light skinned brother there.
I appreciate you, Reese. I try.
Ah,
Oh, you were talking about JT. My bad.
Yeah, I was.
hey, you look like Ace and Tatum, Jayson Tatum.
Look at the weight room.
You Ace and Tatum, bro.
Brandon, you're such a hater, dog.
Whoa. Tomato can.
Why you got Joker on there, man? They ain't letting him win the
Whoa. Tomato
I mean,
can.
you can say that, but like numbers wise, he's still cool. And then let me just go ahead and let these boys finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's over for him, man.
Chef Curry.
Yes, sir. Don't forget Jock. No.
Well, I mean, I only had 5.
I don't know.
I mean, I had more. So like, there's a whole roster, bro. Like, and it's crazy when you look at the rosters. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander could be on this list. Like, this man has been hooping, and on the defensive end too. It's crazy. But you just saw my top 5 MVP candidates, and it was tough to put Curry up there. I gotta be. This one, fellas, I kind of not consistent with it, and I'm losing some sleep a little bit. I'm losing some sleep. Oops, hold on. Let me do this. There we go. Now we back on. So with Steph, right? Like my definition of an MVP, and I'll get y'all take on this. You got to have the talent and dominance, right? And then your team's talent. I got to factor that in. So if you're on a scrub team, I'm gonna give you a little more leeway than somebody else. If you're on a really stout team, I'm gonna knock you, unfortunately. Like, but if you're just dominating still on that squad, I can't say nothing. Then also you got the eye test, and then this one I kind of added late. It was the contract, because again, value, right? When you look up the word value, it is based on monetary. So I got to help out some folks there on the list. But I like my MVPs to be on the top 10 team. Again, unless you're on a trash squad like Kobe, MVP, but he was on the trash team. Steph not on the trash team. Like, we hyped this team up for a minute. Right. It's a 3-man race. I think we all agree on that one. It's Luka, Giannis, and JT, right? But for me, I go personally Luka because of situation. I know JT has JB. I know Giannis, you got Drew Holiday, who's putting up 20 a game. You get Chris Middleton back coming later on. He's 20-point game caliber player. It's I gotta knock somebody at some point in time, and that seemed to be the best way. When I looked at Luka, his team, although the utilization might be a little higher, right? I hear you. This is not who's the better player, who's the more valuable. MVP does not mean the best player. Again, Luka, I don't think is better than a JT. I don't think he's better than a Giannis. But value-wise, no one on his team is throwing up 20. I can't say that for the Bucks, and they're missing Chris Middleton. I can't say that for the Celtics because they have JB. So in terms of value, right now, I gotta go Luka. The only way it locks out for Luka is if the team starts to dip a lot, or if JT or Giannis dominate that much more, or if Steph Curry's Warriors finally get into the top 10 realm like they should. But that's how I'm looking at this. I wanted y'all takes on this though. Freddie, I feel like you're gonna have the most hesitation, the most reservation about my listing. So we're gonna start it off with Reese.
Well, no, I'm gonna let Freddie go first. But what I will say is, Trey, what I heard from you just now is who's the best player with the worst GM.
Luka's better than JT, by the way. But so I'm surprised you said that, because I don't think JT could have done what Luka did last year with Dallas. So, but I don't want to. Okay. I just want to throw that out there. and I'm not even a crazy Luka fan. But anywho, I don't put Luka as number one simply because I think this Dallas team is better than it was last year. I get they lost my guy Julius Brunson or Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson.
Yes, Brunson, and I'm a Knicks fan. They lost him, but they get Timmy back. They answered a big issue in getting JaVale McGee, which I thought was a huge signing. Because I'm not a Dwight Powell guy by any means. I feel like he literally just takes up space vertically and just roster and financially, whatever. And then they got Christian Wood, who he should be starting, if we're going to be honest. This is a good Dallas team, a very good Dallas team, to where you can afford to put Dorian Finney-Smith or Kleba or a what's my guy with the crazy hair, the other shooter. On the bench, like, I'm sorry?
Reggie Bullock.
Yes, Reggie Bullock on the bench. Like, now you can bring one of those guys off the bench. They went out. I thought Hardy was going to be more of a intricate part to their offense. He hasn't been yet. But still, overall, it's a better team. Their record has been somewhat underwhelming so far. So I do have Luka as number 3. I have Giannis as number 1 still. They're still a top, 3 seed in the league, 2 seed in the league. And he does not have Chris Middleton. When Chris Middleton comes back, they're winning the championship. His numbers are still great in talking about Giannis. And he hasn't had Drew Holiday for a couple of games. So he's definitely my number 1. Jayson Tatum has to be number 2, man. He's playing brilliant. We got to give him his credit, especially after winning the championship. You've seen how the Warriors came back after going all the way to the finals. They seem like a little worn out, like they haven't recovered yet. The Celtics are fine, and Jayson Tatum is fine. So he hasn't missed a step. In fact, he took his game to the next level. So Giannis, JT, Luka, Ja, Embiid.
Okay. But again, he said though that Luka's better than JT. Reese, real quick.
Factual.
So like, what's your take? I know you're a JT guy. I know JT's your guy. I know JT's your number 1. Talk to me. What's up?
So I hear what you're saying. I just want to kind of go to what you said though. I really do understand what you're saying when you say, because this is basically how I interpret it, right? Best player with the worst GM. Because you talk about, when we talk about Luka, in terms of the top 3, right? I mean, we talk about Luka, JT, and Giannis.
Maybe GM, maybe not, because I think Christian Wood's going to eventually get to 20 points a game. He was there at one point in time, giving you 20 and 10.
But he's like,
should we say coach GM? Because I don't think it's fair.
Well, no, that's what I was gonna say though. That's what I was gonna say. I would disagree with you though, because you did say about the having a 20 point per game score. It's not JT and Giannis' fault that Christian Wood coming off the bench. I mean, it's just, Christian Wood as a starter could give you 20 plus a game with no, especially playing on the court with Luka. I mean, that's no question at all. That's just you're giving him a pick and pop and a roll big. That's kind of the perfect piece for Luka. I do not understand why he's coming off the bench. I think it's idiotic. No matter what the numbers and analytics say, it doesn't make sense. I agree with Freddie. Guys like Powell don't have a place when you got a JaVale McGee and a Christian Wood who can really go and give you everything you need. You can use Dwight Powell on somebody. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, but JT is my number 1 right now. But I will say though, and it's very apparent to me that the Celtics have the best constructed roster in the league currently.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's even close. And so I'm more than fine with him not being a lot of guys number 1, because I mean, damn, the team really is that good. But I will say though, he is, because it's a numbers thing, right? He's number 3 right now in plus minus in the league. And I don't think and then it's crazy because we got Sam Hauser at number 1 because he plays with Jayson Tatum.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about that value, I feel like when you can elevate a guy like Sam Hauser who isn't, you know what I mean? People don't even know who I'm talking about right now, right? And so it's like, when you got a guy like that who is number 1 with the best player on their team being number 3, that speaks volumes in terms of somebody's value and those minutes on the floor. Because I mean, a lot of guys can't really run with the bench and still keep their composure, make the right plays the entire time, and just not care about numbers. But Jayson Tatum's already said in the post game he could care less about winning the MVP. The thing he cares about is getting back to the finals and not feeling the same way he felt last year coming out. He's just gonna keep playing at a high level. If it comes out being the MVP, that's cool. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I hate that Chris Middleton's out. Because Giannis, I feel like, is my clear number one outside of me being a fan. Because I mean, goddamn, I mean, look at him. I mean,
don't worry, they're gonna win the championship when he comes back. So
let me ask you guys this, right? Because again, I stated earlier, if you're on like a really stout team, I kind of knock you, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of win shares, then like win shares, you know, like how many wins you attribute. I mean, wins you pretty much account for. Giannis is 1.7. Luka is at 2.7. Tatum's at 2.4. Spider's at 2.1. Dame was low at 1.2. I didn't see that one coming. Jokic, 2.4. Markkanen, 1.8. Like, do y'all care about win shares like that?
Not the past couple years. That and defensive rating. And again, because Joker was rated as a higher defender by their advanced analytics. He was ahead of Bron and Giannis one year. Over the past 2 years, I forget which year it was. And it's like, come on. We know that both of those guys are far beyond way better defenders now. And even with win shares over the past couple years, there's been some players who have been higher than others. And it's just like, analytics don't always, you know what I'm saying? Analytics, to an extent, ruins basketball when the basketball nerds aren't watching the game. They got to be 50-50, right? You can look at numbers, but you also got to look at eye test and say, okay, this is happening because of this. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean,
I'm not as sold on that defensive win share.
Curry's unanimous MVP year, he had a stout team. Like, I mean, they had probably the best team, top 3 in the league. I mean, easily, I think. I would probably say they were the best team. I mean, you had the unanimous MVP, second best shooter in the league. Draymond, that could do whatever he wanted.
He won unanimous.
That was,
you know what I mean?
3 20-point per game scores.
That was 73-9 year, right?
Yeah, 17.
Yes.
I feel like that was Jayson
or 16
current year right now, because they had just gotten to the finals. They won it. That's the only difference between him and JT. And now it's like this season, okay, he's kind of taking off. Like, I don't know. I like he met the eye test. He had the metrics, and then his team also finished in like the top 10, right? Like, they were like, when I look at Jokic, his team's doing that. Like, he's hitting the numbers. His eye test is hitting. Now, granted, all 3 of us stated it's Giannis, Luka, and JT. My guy at the beginning of the season was Joel Embiid. The man did not hit my top 5. Now he's still getting. I'm still giving him some love just in case. Just make sure that it's. I don't want to be a bridesmaid too damn long. Mm-hmm. But we also got to give love to Jokic as well, because again, Jokic is the back-to-back MVP. So I think we are kind of sleeping on him.
I'm not.
I don't know, Fred, because
I think at some point, and this is, I think, like, at some point, you gotta think, we got voters fatigue for Giannis and LeBron. And this is more recent. Of course, it happened to Mike in the past. Bro, Joker has not, all he's done is put up numbers, bro. But when you talk true impact on a game on both sides of the court, that's for people, like the Steve Nash one was always weird to me, how he won that one. It's like, what is really an MVP, bro? Like, to me, he puts up beautiful numbers. He's a very good basketball player, but I don't think he's an all-around dominant impact. As far as, like, even now, like, people are like, oh, when they get their team back, they get back MPJ and they get back Murray. They're going to take off. I'm like, no, they're not. They're capped. They're never going to win a championship because Joker is your best player. Like, his numbers are always going to be good because he's a very skilled, high IQ, very talented basketball player. He's a great basketball player. But there's great basketball players who can't do that. He's not an ultimate winner, bro. Like, him getting 2 rings, put him in historic company that he doesn't deserve to be in. And so I just feel like they're not going to let him win it again because they did the same to Giannis. And Giannis plays both sides. Giannis is taking his team far every year. Huh?
So I was talking with Reese earlier, and we mentioned how Luka and Trae Young both took their team to the conference finals.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, even though I discredit this entire year, Jokic did the same thing.
He did.
I can't say he's not in the right company if he's done that and put up those same numbers that he's done. I hear you might say it's premature, but he still did what
Trey, you specifically can't, and I love you, bro, but you specifically can't do this because you do not credit the bubble. So you specifically can't do this because you don't credit the bubble. But I get what you're saying, and I give him credit for that. I think I gave him credit to you specifically when he came back down from 1-3, because I've always been opposed to Joker, anyways. But yeah, bro, but you don't care about the bubble. Yeah, I get what you're saying though. He has that on his resume, but I think that's the furthest he's ever going to get.
That's
while
fair.
being the more guy.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Is there a sleeper on the MVP? Because I still got some people I ain't list, dog. Like D-Book, you know what I mean? He was playing cool. Ja Morant, he out there.
D-Book.
Up there. Can we give some love to KD though? KD in the same boat as Steph. And like I said, it's tough for me to put Steph in that boat when his team is looking, and I hate this. His team looking ass. You got to call a spade. They looking ass, bro. Siakam, I wanted to throw Siakam in that thing, but he
just went out with that injury. But Siakam would be my sleeper. Siakam would be my sleeper for sure.
I think Shy might be my sleeper just because his defense.
Yeah.
He's not going.
His numbers are crazy.
Let me just say that right now. But if he's on a different team, bro, I think he gets a little more recognition and he might climb up ranking a little.
Do you think on a different team though he's dropping? I feel like guys kind of.
I feel like he would. I feel like you put if you
put him, the man is but the Thunder, they're averaging 140 a game.
yeah.
So, I don't know what's going on.
They ain't stopping you, and you ain't stopping them.
Shy seems like a really solid bucket, but it's not just the offensive end for me; it's the defensive end that he's taken a little bit more shine to. So that holds up.
I wouldn't. He's not a super young guy no more either. I feel like people are like Shy has been on the come up. He's a year.
Chris Paul's been on 3 different teams since Shy's.
What I'm saying, I'm about to say, and Shy's a year. He got drafted a year after Tatum. You know what I mean? In terms of the calendar and kind of all of that. I mean, he's in
24. He's 24.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's in step with the guys around him, especially when you look at how kind of boisterous the numbers are, especially over the last 2-3 years. I mean, guys are. I mean, this is the first year I think they said. I mean, you had 3 or 4 guys averaging 30. This far into the season, that's kind of crazy, right?
This first season, yeah. It was crazy. It's crazier to hear though that no one said Lauri Markkanen. Laurie Bird, as some call him, maybe just me.
We're not about to do this.
We're not about to do this.
We're not about to do this. Question, real quick. This how much start ending this, because we ain't got to do this, because I got to get off in a couple minutes, and I don't want to. Come on, listen. All right. Did anyone from Detroit during the Billups years, right? The Billups, Sheed, Rip Ham. Did any one of those guys ever get MVP considerations? No. No, they didn't. Did anyone from Atlanta Hawks in 2016, when they won 75% of their games against the Western Conference, ever win MVP or get a MVP camp? No.
It's a very different situation. But I hear
you. It's not, man.
I hear you. I do hear you. Like I said, Laurie was not in my top 5. He was not in my top 5. So.
I mean, I'm about to say, also, he's had some great games, but if we said numbers a lot, his numbers are not that impressive.
That's crazy, because I say the same thing, and then you say, "Oh, it's the way he."
No. MVP. No. In terms of an MVP, okay, his numbers are impressive for what he's contributing to the second team in the West right now. But we're talking about an MVP. Those guys are all out there playing with heart and nothing to lose. Like it ain't just Lowry.
I hear you. Well, sound like Joel Embiid for MVP. That's what I heard. So
if James Harden and Tyrese Maxey's in a boot. I mean, if those guys both go out and Joel Embiid is the one who's willing folk to a win, he's going.
Hey, I got a sneaky suspicion he played himself into shape. I got a sneaky suspicion he pulled the Luka and played himself into shape this year. Early on, he didn't look like he was moving around as well, but now he seems like moving around.
AD doing the same thing.
Nah, AD looked like he was in shape. It just looked.
I think now he's just being more aggressive.
Like he's been solid too. I would put AD in that. AD could be a little higher in the MVP discussion as well, but we got to.
Right, he was my sleeper too. Yeah.
I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.